Hi, my name is Pedro Guerrero. Today I will present about a famous photographer named Robert. Robert Capa died on May 25, 1913. He lived for a total of 41 years. He died as a victim of a landmine attack in Vietnam. He died doing his job as a photographer, creating majestic photos that reflected the war as it is. He always lived risking his life at all times. As we can see, he gave his life to his photographing passion. Robert Capa was always risking his life taking pictures of soldiers in different battlefields. His life was always reflected in his photographies in one way or another. Robert Capa was a war photographer, creating majestic pictures of war, the way it was supposed to be. He wanted the whole world to see his work in a different way. As we can see, Robert wasn't just close to a battlefield, but he was always in a battlefield. Like Capa once said, if your pictures aren't good enough, you aren't close enough. He really took his job seriously. It is why Robert Capa is one of my favorite photographers. Capa changed photography as an art. Robert's real name was Andre Friedman. He changed his name to Robert Capa after meeting Gerda Tara. She was a photojournalist. Both Capa and she came up with the idea of creating an American character. He was the most famous photographer of the 20th century. Two of his most famous pictures were the falling soldier and the D-Day until this time. The falling soldier represents the struggle of every soldier fighting for freedom in this country. In today's world, Capa's photography is important in trough history and a symbol of bravery. Almost all of Capa's pictures appeared in pages of leading picture magazines. The British magazine called Robert Capa the greatest war photographer in the world because, as we can see, he was always close enough to make his pictures good enough. He wouldn't care about dying or getting shot if he was doing what he liked. Capa's involvement. Throughout Capa's life, he covered 5 different wars: the Spanish Civil War, the Second Sino-Japanese War, World War II, the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, and the First Indochina War. There is a small or no group of photographers able to do what Capa did as a photographer. These 4 pictures represent the life of a soldier in battlefield and the struggle and suffering of children living in war zones. Capa's style of creating photos close enough to see the reflection of people's sufferings and feelings during the war. Not only people fighting the war, but people suffering it. Like this little girl. These 3 pictures reflect heroes fighting for their lives and having feeling of anger and being scared of dying. Capa shows us by his pictures how difficult life was for soldiers. These last photos represent a mother taking care of their children due to war struggles, and how dangerous living in a war society is like. The girl in the bottom was Capa's girlfriend, and the one who motivated him to follow his photographing career. If it wasn't for Gerda, we wouldn't be able to see Capa's majestic photos. Thank you for your attention.